Welcome to the Jinx Meadow Outpost at Camp Tahquitz. We've got a wonderful place down here, but today we're going to be talking about something real special. Today we're going to be talking about dog sledding. Now back in the early days, that's how they used to get around in the wintertime. And so they had a sled dog team and they'd get all their gear on it and they'd hook up the dogs and off they'd go down the trail. Well, we're going to learn a little bit about dog sledding today, but at the same time, we're going to learn about these life principles that I like to call gold nuggets. And they're things that are going to help you as you run your life, kind of like a sled dog race of life. And we're going to touch on those as we go along the program here. So to start off, let's talk about the sled itself. This right here is a sled very similar to the ones that they'd use way back in the old days. Made out of wood. It's got lashings on it to hold it together. The only thing different with this one is that it's got plastic runners on it instead of like metal runners or wood runners of the past. Well, I mentioned something about gold nuggets. Well, you all know what this is, and that's a gold pan. Well, we're going to talk on these gold nugget principles a little bit later on. But what this is they used to get down there and they used to get the sand in and they used to stand by the river and they'd work really hard until they finally found, hopefully, some gold. Find this little nugget if they're real lucky. And that nugget, they would just throw it away and start looking for another one. Nah, I'm just kidding. No, they wouldn't do that. They would hold on to that nugget and they would treasure it. Well, as we talk today, I want you to hold on to these nuggets I'm going to give you and hold on to them because they're going to help you in your life. So there we go. So back to the sled. We have the front of the sled here, and this is called the brush bow. Now the brush bow is what keeps you from like flying over your handlebars when you go around a small tree or bush. And if you didn't have the brush bow, you would hit this flat section right onto the tree and it would just stop your sled. And then you'd go, ah, boom. Ask me how I know. I've done it before. See, one time my brush bow was broken and it was on a run. Well, it happened and I lost the brush bow, fell off, and I had to go around a sharp turn. Well, sure enough, I hit this little tree which stopped my sled and I flew over the sled and landed right next to my dog. So you don't want that to happen to you. So make sure you have your brush bow on. Then we have the basket of the sled. That's this big section here, and that's where you put your sled bag and you put all your gear inside of that. So brush bow, basket. These little things here are called stanchions. They give support to the sled. Well, these little babies here, these little uprights. And the sled has another bow. This one right here is called the driver's bow. And you hang on to that. In fact, rule number 1 of dog sledding is never let go of the sled. Because guess what happens? Yeah, ask me how I know. What happens is the dogs take off without you. They just love running. They aren't going to stop and go, oh wait, we're going to hold on. He fell off. No, they're going to keep going. So you got to run after your sled and get it. So it's best not to let go to begin with. So this is called the driver's bow. Well, then back here we have the brake. It's on a spring and it's got claws and it sticks down into the snow and you slow down your team, usually followed by a whoa. Try to slow them down a little bit. And then the things you stand on here, they're called runners. You stand on those babies and fly down the trail. Now sometimes when you hit a hill, you have to get off and push and help the dogs out. Here, running along, pushing, and then you hop back on, catch your breath. And then sometimes you have to push and pedal like this and help the dogs out. That's a little easier than running, but it does help the dogs. So there you go. Oh, now you stop with the brake. What do you say? Ooh, and then you get your snow hook. Now see that baby? Yeah, that baby's sharp. You gotta be really careful with this. But you see, if I let go of the brake right now, the dogs hear that and they take off. You don't want that to happen. So you hold the brake down and then you stick this snow hook in the snow and you stomp it down real good. And then you lightly let the brake up so it doesn't make that noise, which will trigger the dogs to pull. Sometimes they can even pull the snow hook out. You don't want that to happen. Well, all right, let's see what else we have. Let's look inside this bag and see what we got. That would be a 1890s plastic zipper there. Okay. This right here. Now this is a cooker. And let me tell you why you need a cooker. let's say it's wintertime. It's 20 below zero. Well, your dogs need to get water, right? You need to get water. So yeah, you can just, take your pot out and go to the stream or the lake and scoop up some water, right? Wrong. You can't do that when it's 20 below zero. You see, the water's frozen. So you can either break through the ice, but sometimes it's really thick. So the other thing you could do is fill this up with snow. See those little cake pans in there? Well, what you do is you pour this alcohol fuel in there, and then you light your little old dog booty and you drop it in. Poof! And it gets real hot. And then you get your snow and you put it down. And there like that. And then that is going to start melting. Now, snow, let's say you have 10 inches of snow. Do you know how much water that makes? It melts down to about 1 inch of water. So you have to fill it up like 10 times to get that whole pot melted with snow. So that's a lot of work just to get water in the wintertime. Well, after you finally get that taken care of and it's melting over there out of the way, you walk down and you look at your dogs and you check them out. So you gotta stop and you pick up their paws and you get to work with them and make sure they don't have any sore muscles. And then you put this stuff in. This is called bag balm. It's really pretty too. It's really dirty when you start putting it on dog paws. And it's really goopy and really slimy. It doesn't taste too good. Ask me how I know. Oh, anyway, where was I? Okay, so you put it all over the dog paws and you rub it all into their paws. You give them a little massage and they love that. They're giving you kisses. And then you finally settle them down. And then your water's all melted. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna mix up that water with all their dog food and you're gonna put their bowls out all the way along the line. Get all your dogs taken care of and fed. And then you get to go to sleep. Guess where we sleep? Well, during a storm, you can crawl inside your sled bag and you could zip it up and you could sleep in there with all your warm sleeping bags and blankets and stuff. Now, we'll talk a little bit about harnesses. This right here is called an X-back harness. And it goes on the dog kind of like this. There's an X on the back, see? That's why they call it an X-back harness. So you got your harness there and the dog's all hooked up and it's got this little loop, and the loop connects to what we call the gang line. The gang line's this long line that runs out in front of your sled. And then they pull on it. It's got nice padding on it, keep them nice and comfortable, and they lean forward and pull hard. All right, well now we're going to talk about clothing, how you try to stay warm in the cold winter when you're out there with your dog team. Now, it's not easy, and back in the old days, they didn't always stay warm. Sometimes they just had some real cold, miserable nights, but they had some ways of keeping themselves okay warm, and I'm going to show you. I need a model. If we had someone to help model, is there anybody?
Mr. Stradley.
Hey, Fuzzy, come on in, man, look at that. Now this is he's a Wilderness Outpost model for sure. Okay, look at that here. Look at that. Oh yeah.
I'm feeling pretty cold though.
Oh, you're cold? Well, we're gonna get you warmed up. So let's say the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna put like your long underwear on. Okay.
Okay.
You got that, like those red Union suits, and they got the little drop bottom hats, for when it's cold.
I know just the kind.
Yeah, that's right. So we'll get that on you real good, and then maybe a wool shirt, and then maybe we'll put on a wool sweater over that. Okay. You're still cold?
Maybe.
Oh, yeah, it's 20 below. I think you're still cold. So I'll tell you what, we're going to put one of these on you. Now, let me see. This is called a capote. So put your arm in there. Oh, and pretend we're putting it over all that other stuff. There you go. You tie that up here. You got a belt. There you go. You tie that. Now, the capote came from the French fur trappers. You see, they would buy these Hudson Bay blankets right here from the Hudson Bay Company, real thick blankets, and then they'd make them into this nice outfit here. Well, the Native Americans saw their outfits, they said, that's pretty cool, I want one of those too. And then they started making them. And there was a trading between the fur trappers and the Native Americans. And what they did here is this has got 4 points on it. That means it's a 4-point blanket, and it was used, how they paid for it was like 4 points meant like 4 beaver pelts. You give me 4 beaver pelts, I'll give you a blanket, and you could make it just like mine. There you go. Keeps you kind of, you're still cold. You're still shivering.
I think I'm good now.
Okay, no, he's still shivering. Okay, hang on, he's still cold. You're cold, all right? All right, he's cold. Now, we're gonna put this wool poncho on. Now, it's real heavy. Uh-oh, your head's supposed to go in the hole. Oh, is that okay? Oh, there you go. All right, now we're gonna put that on you. All right. Oh, he's still shivering. Okay, hold on a sec. Hold on a sec. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put poncho over that. Oh yeah, your head goes in the whole thing. There you go. Yeah, like that. And your arms. We lost his arms.
I got one. I got 2.
Yeah. Hey, he's pretty bundled up in there. But your arms come out these things, and it keeps you real warm. This keeps you from getting wet. And boy, let me tell you, you got one arm. Oh, you got them both? Ah, there you go. That's good. That's beautiful. All right, so there you go. He's all set to go, and well, that's how you used to do it. Kind of hard to get yourself all warm. And then it has a big wool hat or hood that comes over the head, but we kind of lost that. It's all buried under all this stuff. So, there you go. Well, why don't you do a couple laps over there and come on back and tell me how it feels. All right, well, now we have fancy clothes we can wear like that, you know, Gore-Tex and waterproof, breathable stuff and all that. So we're a lot warmer out there and a lot more comfortable out there when we're doing our dog sledding. And this is something you wear on your feet. Now this right here is called a bunny boot. It's called a bunny boot because when you wear it, you look like a bunny with big old feet. But it keeps you warm at 30, 40 below zero. Very good, because your feet get cold in that snow all the time. But this will help you out a lot. So there's your bunny boots. As far as equipment goes and dressing, we have a gold nugget with that. And the gold nugget is this. The gold nugget is dress appropriately for every situation. Dress appropriately for every situation. So if you wanted to go in the mountains in the wintertime, you'd want to dress warm, right? If you wanted to go to the beach, you probably wouldn't wear this, although Fuzzy might, you never know. But if you went to a wedding, you probably wouldn't wear this either, right? You'd dress up in the nicest stuff you had. If you went for a job interview, you would dress up real nice and real professional and have your hair combed and looking really good, right? Because you're dressing appropriately for every situation. Okay, that's your first nugget. Now when the snow comes down, it gets really, really deep. And dogs don't run too well in deep snow. In fact, they sink in the snow. And they could hurt themselves, actually, twist an ankle or what have you. So what you have to do before you run your dogs after a good foot of snow drops is you have to bring these out. And you hook your snowshoes onto your feet and you stomp down the trail. So maybe I'll put them down and stomp down like 2 miles of trail. Turn around and stomp back the other way, trying to make the trail a little bit wider. And then I get back to my team, put the snowshoes in, pull the snow hook and say, hike. That's what we say when we want our team to go. And off we go down the trail. And how far do we go? Oh, about 2 miles. Then the snow's deep again, so you gotta stop. Put down the snow hook, put on your snowshoes, and stomp down another 2 miles of trail. Then you come back, and every time you come back, the dogs are looking at you like they're so excited. Yeah, where did you go? And they like to fly on down. Well, you keep doing that until the snow starts settling down and getting packed, or you have to do it the whole time. Now, if you have a partner, one person's out in front breaking the trail, and the other person's back there holding the team back with the brake on. Whoa, and it's a lot of hard work, but once you get that trail packed, it's a lot easier for the next guy. Now, communicating with the dogs is very important. You got to learn how to do it, and it's not always easy. Like this means, that means something different than maybe, like, I'm just kidding. That's not how we communicate with the dog. Hold on. Actually, we have what we call commands, and we say these commands, and the dogs listen to us, or at least you hope. So one of them would be this. We talked about it earlier. When you want to stop your sled, you say, whoa, and you put the brake on, and then you put your snow hook in, right? Did you hear how I said whoa? Well, I had to learn how to do that because one time I was learning how to mush. I had 3 dogs and a little junior sled that was made for kids, but it's all I had. And my dogs were flying down an ungroomed trail, and I was bouncing all over the place, and I was going much too fast. So I said, whoa, 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 whoa. Guess what? They didn't listen to me. They must have thought I was saying, go, 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 and they were pulling even faster. So I remember reading in the book that you slide your sled over off of its runners and let it drag in the snow, and that'll stop them. So I did that. I tipped my sled over, and I was still dragging through the snow, and snow was kicking up in my face, and I'm saying, whoa, whoa, whoa. Then my snow hook fell out. Big old sharp hook is hanging behind me as we're flying down the trail. I was scared to death. And then I thought, wait a minute. How do the cowboys say whoa to their horses? Well, they usually say something like this. Whoa, little pony. And so I tried that. I said, whoa. Guess what happened? They stopped right there. And at just that moment, the clouds parted. The sun shone down upon my head. And right then, I got something very special. It's a gold nugget. And I'm going to give it to you right now. And the gold nugget here is, it's not just what you say that's important, but it's how you say it. Get it? Not just what you say, but how you say it. It's very important. You could say thank you to someone like, thank you. That doesn't mean anything. You could say, I'm sorry. But that doesn't mean anything. But if you sincerely mean it, you're going to say thank you or I'm sorry. And that's going to mean a lot more. Same with the dogs. You got to say the right words, but you got to say it in the right tone. So there's some other calls. There's whoa for stopping. What do you think they say when they want them to go? Well, all the movies and all the books, they seem to say like mush, right? Mush. I've never heard a musher that says mush. What they say is hike or okay, let's go. And the dogs are used to that. But mush, never heard someone say mush. So that gets them to go. If you want them to go slower, you say easy, easy now, easy. And if you want them to go faster, you say, okay, pick it up. And if you want them to, go by an intersection where you there's a trail this way and a trail that way, and you want them to go straight, you say, on by, on by. Yeah, and then of course, good dog. Now I'm going to talk a little bit more about some of the equipment here. One more thing that I mentioned, but I want to tell you a little bit more about. And that's this thing right here, and it's called a gang line. I wanted to see if you remembered. So this is the gang line, and you remember that because you hook up the whole gang of dogs to the gang line, okay? The gang line has a little shock cord on it, and it's hooked up to the bridle of the sled, and the gang line has other lines on it. This long line right here is called a tug line. Now why do you think they call it a tug line? Because the dogs like to tug on it. That's right. So it's a tug line. And it's hooked on to the gang line. Now this goes on that little loop I showed you on the back of the harness. Then you got up here in the front. And this is a neckline. Now why do you think they call it a neckline? Well, because it goes on the neck of the dog. It keeps the whole team together, pulling in the same direction. That's important if you want to get anywhere. And then, the very end, you hook these onto the lead dogs, and you're ready to go. In fact, I think I heard the lead dogs and the other dogs, they're excited. I think we're going to go hook up a team. That'll be some fun. So, come on over and let's meet the dogs. Well, this is Pooh Bear. Pooh Bear is an Alaskan Husky, which is a hybrid. It's actually Alaskan Malamute, Siberian Husky, and Hound Dog, all bred together to make a very fast dog, much faster than a purebred dog. She comes from the champion Iditarod lines of Susan Butcher and Jeff King. They're both 4-time champions of the 1,200-mile sled dog race from Anchorage to Nome, Alaska. So they have a double fur coat. They have a guard hair on the top, which sheds the water off, and underneath they have a real fluffy fur. She's very soft. I'll show you another dog later on that's dumping his coat, and you could pull big chunks of fur out. I wanted to make sure you got to see all that fur. She's already dumped hers, so she's looking pretty good. You guys, oh, you heard that. Okay, so I'm gonna put a harness on, show you how that all works. So here's our X-back harness. And you put it together like this, and you just go right like that. They don't always cooperate with you because they're all excited. Good dog. Over here. Good dog. And then all right. And then we're going to hook this onto here. And we're going to say the command, line out. Good girl. Good girl. Now, this is Boomer. And Boomer's shedding. Look at all that hair. He's dumping his coat right now. And it just pulls out in big chunks. You can make a sweater out of that. Maybe one of these days I'll do that. But yeah, he's got all kinds of undercut that he doesn't need in the summertime, so he's getting rid of it. They do that twice a year. All right, let's get his harness on. Hot. Line out. Sometimes they want to cuddle instead of line out. Line out. Line out. Good dog.
Hello. Hi, how are you? Well, how are you? Oh, hello.
Make sure they go that way. I think you can let go. Yep, here we go. Okay, guys, hike. Good dog. Good dog. Woo-hoo. Good dog. Oh. Oh. Good dog. Way to go. Way to go. Good guys. Go this way. Good dogs. I know it's hot. Okay, hike, let's go, hike. Yeehaw! Yeehaw! Whoop-a! Good job, doggies! Come on! Good job! Now, another gold nugget that's a very important one is this. The tug line. Now the tug line, if it's tight like this, that means the dog is working hard. It's being what we call an honest dog. It's working real hard and it's pulling. If you see a dog that has a loose tug like that, that dog's not helping the team. At a glance, you might think that dog is really doing his job, but nope, just going along and thinking they're not being noticed. And if I see a dishonest dog doing that, I'll go, hey, pick it up there, Nugget. Nugget was a dishonest dog sometimes. She wanted to run, but sometimes she'd have to remember that she's part of a team and she has to do her job. So we want to be honest dogs in our life. We want to do our job 100%, not be the lazy one who thinks they're getting away with it, but always working hard. And even when someone's not watching, we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. So that's being an honest dog. There's a gold nugget that'll help you out a lot. Now, speaking of the team, we talked earlier about the wheel dogs, the team dogs, the swing dogs, and the lead dogs. Well, right now we have 2 lead dogs here, and I usually run 2, and there's a reason for that. Most teams do run 2 lead dogs, and the reason is sometimes one might get distracted. Oh, let's say Burro here. Let's say Burro just loves to chase squirrels, and a squirrel runs across the trail. Well, she might want to go chase a squirrel, which might take you down a cliff or something, or into the trees. And then you got Pooh Bear here. Well, Pooh Bear's not so tempted by squirrels, so Pooh Bear will pull Burro back onto the path again. And the gold nugget that goes with that is really important, and that means that is pick good friends. Okay? You want to pick good friends, so when you do something stupid, they're going to stop you and pull you back onto the right way again. You don't want to have friends that do stupid things with you because you'll both get in trouble. So pick good friends is a gold nugget. Another gold nugget, be a good friend. Make sure you're the one that's ready to help a guy out when he makes a mistake. And we all make bad choices at times, but hopefully you could be there to help them out and they could be there to help you out if you pick good friends. We talked about the X-back harness and how the tug line's hooked onto it, and about being an honest dog. There's another gold nugget that I have to teach you, and this is very important too. See, when I was young, I was really energetic and crazy, and I got in trouble sometimes. I had energy, but it wasn't focused energy, and sometimes it distracted from what was going on. Well, sled dogs are the same way. They can be really excited about running, but if they don't want to work together as a team and run in the same direction, that could be some problems. So the harness, we teach them, we put that on, and we teach them to harness their energy, and that's the gold nugget. Harness your energy. Make sure that the energy you have is going towards a good purpose. And in this case, they have energy, that's for sure, but this harness helps them to direct that energy to a positive result, which is to run down the trail, or when you do races, to win that race. Well, thanks a lot for coming down to the Tahquitz Outpost at Camp Tahquitz and learning a little bit about my fuzzy friends and how you get around in the wintertime in the old days out here in the mountains. We enjoyed you coming down. Hopefully you learned something, not only about dog sledding, but hopefully you can take some of those gold nuggets and remember those as well. Take care. Have an awesome summer.